Big news when it comes to the OnePlus Z or the OnePlus Nord, and big news when it comes to OnePlus in general. So, as we know, OnePlus are still quite a young brand in the big scheme of things, but they have carved out quite the fan base from their very first phone, which was the original flagship killer, to now building phones that are out and out flagships. They're coming with a new mid-range type of phone that once again will disrupt the industry with, well, what is believed to be a very good specs list for a very good price. Fans of OnePlus though will know that this wasn't by accident. The success of OnePlus is really because of the backing of a huge smartphone conglomerate known as BBK. This is why the very big news of OnePlus CEO Pete Lau actually moving over to Oppo is big news, but actually not that much of a shock. So this is the news that came out of China over the weekend, that the CEO of OnePlus, Pete Lau, will actually be moving over to Oppo. So a quite high up executive at Oppo stepped down recently for health reasons, and so there was a gap in some of the executive positions at Oppo. And if you know the history of OnePlus and Oppo, Pete Lau actually started off at Oppo and then came out and started OnePlus with a couple of other guys as well. According to the reports, Pete Lau will be moving over to Oppo and he will be something called the Chief Experience Officer. That's how I translated it from Chinese anyway. It just means that he's going to have a much more hands-on role with some of the new products coming out at Oppo. But with regard to Oppo, OnePlus and Pete Lau himself, apparently not much will change. He will just oversee some new products at Oppo as well. So the pipeline and everything going on with OnePlus and Oppo will stay more or less the same. Then when it comes to the OnePlus Z or the OnePlus Nord, we're still waiting official confirmation of what this thing will be called. We get the charging specs of the device confirmed. This is a good thing. So a TÜV Rheinland certification shows off that the OnePlus Z, as I'm going to call it, will come with 30 watt fast charging. So that is the same as we get in the OnePlus 8 series. That's a pretty good spec overall, and there are other budget and mid-range phones with 30 watt or 33 watt. I'm thinking of some Redmi phones here, so a good spec for a mid-range phone. But then we get rumors of the price, which is, well, I guess really exciting for most of us. This is after Kolpei, another executive at OnePlus, reposted a tweet from the very first OnePlus phone saying it's been a long time. That was then picked up by many other publications, and now there is a rumor that the phone will be coming at a price of $300. The reason they think that is because the original OnePlus came at that price, although there is no hints, no leaks that this will be the price. But if we take a look at the competition right now, well, there are many other mid-range phones out there from Xiaomi, Redmi, for example, which I guess are the competition for this phone. And in China at least, we've got some mid-range phones with some pretty good specs, good processors, like the Xiaomi Mi 10 Lite, mid-range processor, multiple cameras, and AMOLED display, coming at around about that price too. So it is perfectly possible that in China and India, where phone prices are cheaper, that it could come at $300. But I would assume that if it even came outside of those countries and OnePlus did launch it outside of those, it wouldn't be that cheap. But for now, we really don't know worldwide availability. We know it's going to be in India, I assume in China as well. Outside of those countries, we're still unsure. Then we get this post from Max J, who is really a OnePlus leaker at this point, and it is hinting to the fact that there may be a quad camera system on the OnePlus Z. What we don't know from the tweet is if that is the total amount of cameras, so triple on the back, one on the front, or if it's going to be a quad camera on the back. If we look at the leaked CAD images from OnLeaks, we may be able to fit 4 cameras into there, maybe a triple camera system with one on the side. But this being a mid-range phone, we would have to assume an ultra-wide, a main, then maybe a depth and a macro making up the rest. There may be a zoom camera in there as well. We're not quite sure, but quad camera, definitely exciting for this phone, packing a lot of specs for what we assume is a pretty good price. So let's see what OnePlus do compromise on in this phone, because if it does come for, let's say, $300, well, the competition has good chipsets, but there are other compromises in the camera hardware, the actual sensors, for example, and also, well, a 90 Hz refresh rate screen like we think is coming on the OnePlus at this price level. would be quite disruptive. So I'm looking forward to see what will come, and also what, if anything, is sacrificed as well. But anyway, that is it for your tech news and OnePlus news for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.